want to start with a simple question. Have you ever felt stuck? Not just overwhelmed, not just busy, but truly stuck. Like you're running on a treadmill, moving fast, but going absolutely nowhere. See, life has a way of pulling us into patterns, habits, routines, expectations that don't always serve us. We wake up one day and realize we're not as fulfilled as we thought we'd be. We lose sight of why we started. And that's when we have two choices. Keep running in the same direction or hit reset. Today I want to talk about the power of resetting. Not quitting, not escaping, resetting. Because when we reset, we don't erase who we are. We reconnect with why we do what we do. And when we get that right, everything changes. So let's talk about what it really means to reset your life and how you can do it in a way that gives you clarity, purpose, and a renewed sense of energy. Because the best version of your life isn't behind you. It's waiting for you, if you're willing to reset. Life moves fast. We wake up, check our phones, rush through our routines, and dive into responsibilities without pausing to ask ourselves a simple yet powerful question. Why am I doing all of this? Most people don't take the time to stop and reflect because they are caught in the momentum of daily life. But when we fail to pause, we lose sight of where we're going and why we started in the first place. Reflection is not just about thinking, it's about seeing. It's about stepping outside of your daily routine to gain a clearer perspective on your thoughts, actions, and emotions. It's about asking yourself, am I living the life I want, or am I just moving through the motions? Many people mistake busyness for progress, but the truth is, movement without direction is just running in circles. Self-awareness is the foundation of clarity. Without it, we operate on autopilot, making decisions based on habits, assumptions, or external pressures rather than conscious choice. When we pause and reflect, we create the space to understand our true motivations, desires, and fears. We start to notice patterns, why we react a certain way, why we make certain choices, and why some things bring us joy while others drain our energy. Consider this: when was the last time you truly sat with your thoughts, without distractions, without a screen in front of you? In today's world, silence has become uncomfortable. We fill every spare moment with noise, scrolling, watching, listening, rarely giving ourselves the gift of stillness. But clarity doesn't come from more information. It comes from less noise. It comes from stepping back, breathing, and allowing our minds the freedom to process what's really happening beneath the surface. People often fear reflection because it forces them to face truths they've been avoiding. It's easier to stay busy than to admit we're unhappy. It's easier to keep pushing forward than to acknowledge we've been heading in the wrong direction. But avoiding the truth doesn't change it. The only way to reset your life is to first see where you are. That requires honesty with yourself. Real honesty, the kind that makes you uncomfortable. The kind that challenges your assumptions and forces you to confront the things you'd rather ignore. Think of your mind like a cluttered room. If you never stop to clean and organize, things pile up. Old beliefs, outdated goals. Journaling is one of the most effective ways to engage in reflection. When you write down your thoughts, you externalize them, making them easier to examine. You start to notice patterns, things you repeat, emotions you suppress, and dreams you keep pushing aside. Writing forces you to slow down, process, and articulate what's truly on your mind. It's like having a conversation with yourself, but one where you can't just brush things off or distract yourself with something else. Another powerful method is solitude. In a world that glorifies constant connection, solitude is underrated. Spending time alone, without your phone, without distractions, allows your mind to settle. It gives you the opportunity to listen to your own thoughts without external influence. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in history came when people were alone with their thoughts, free from the noise of the world. Reflection isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about understanding it. It's about recognizing what has shaped you, what patterns you've fallen into, and what beliefs you've carried with you, some of which may no longer serve you. It's about making peace with your past so you can move forward with clarity. One of the most revealing exercises you can do is to ask yourself 3 simple questions. What is working in my life? What is not working? What do I need to change? These questions cut through the noise and force you to be honest with yourself. They highlight the areas where you're thriving and the areas where you're merely surviving. And once you have that awareness, you can make conscious decisions about what to do next. Many people avoid self-reflection because they're afraid of what they might discover. They worry that if they stop and think too much, they will realize they're not happy, that they're in the wrong job, the wrong relationship, or the wrong mindset. But avoiding reality doesn't change it. Ignoring a problem doesn't make it disappear. The only way to create a meaningful reset in your life is to first acknowledge what needs to change. We often seek clarity by looking outward, asking for advice, consuming more information, searching for answers in other people's words. But the answers you need are not out there. They are within you. You just have to create the space to hear them. When you pause and reflect, you also reconnect with your values. Many people make decisions based on what they think they should do rather than what actually aligns with their core values. They chase success as defined by society, not by their own definition of fulfillment. They say yes to things out of obligation rather than desire. They prioritize what's urgent over what's important. But when you take the time to reflect, you strip away the noise and reconnect with what truly matters to you. One of the most powerful realizations that comes from self-reflection is that you are not stuck. You may feel stuck, but that feeling is just a result of being disconnected from your purpose. Once you take the time to gain clarity, you start to see possibilities where before you only saw limitations. You recognize that the obstacles in your life are not permanent roadblocks, but signs pointing you in a new direction. People who lack self-awareness often repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same unhealthy patterns, and wonder why nothing changes. But the moment you become conscious of your choices, your thoughts, and your emotions, you take back control. You stop being a passive participant in your own life and start making decisions with intention. It's not always comfortable, growth never is. But clarity gives you power, the power to choose a different path, to break free from limiting beliefs, to move forward with confidence instead of confusion. When you know who you are and what you want, the right decisions become obvious. The truth is, most of the answers you're searching for are already within you, but you won't hear them until you slow down, clear the noise, and create space for reflection. When you do, everything becomes clearer. What you need to let go of, what you need to focus on, and what steps you need to take next. So before you take action, before you make big decisions, before you try to change everything all at once, pause, reflect, gain clarity. Because once you do, the path forward won't just be clearer, it will be yours to create. Letting go is one of the hardest things to do. As human beings, we hold on sometimes to people, sometimes to habits, sometimes to beliefs that no longer serve us. We cling to familiarity even when it's holding us back. But if we want to reset our lives, we have to create space for something new, and that means learning to let go. Think about it. If your hands are full, you can't pick up anything new. The same goes for your mind and your heart. When we hold on to things that no longer serve us, resentment, fear, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, unfulfilling jobs, we leave no room for growth, no room for possibility. We stay stuck in patterns that drain our energy instead of fueling our potential. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending something never happened or that it didn't matter. It means accepting that some things belong in the past and choosing to move forward without them weighing you down. It means recognizing that not everything is meant to last forever, and that's okay. Many people struggle with letting go because they confuse comfort with happiness. Just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's good for you. A bad relationship can feel familiar, a toxic habit can feel familiar, self-doubt can feel familiar, But familiarity isn't the same as fulfillment. If something is holding you back, no matter how comfortable it feels, it's time to let it go. One of the biggest things people hold on to is fear. Fear of change, fear of failure, fear of what others might think. Fear can be paralyzing, but here's the truth. Most of the things we fear never actually happen. We spend so much time worrying about things that may never come true, and in doing so, we trap ourselves in a cycle of hesitation and inaction. But when you let go of fear, you gain something far more valuable: freedom. The freedom to take risks, to grow, to create a life that excites you instead of one that just feels safe. Another thing people struggle to let go of is the past. Maybe it's a mistake you made, maybe it's something someone did to you, maybe it's a version of yourself that no longer fits who you are today. Whatever it is, carrying the past into the present only makes it harder to move forward. Forgiving yourself is just as important as forgiving others. You are not the same person you were a year ago, 5 years ago, or even yesterday. Every day, you have a chance to redefine yourself. But you can't do that if you're still holding on to an outdated version of who you were. Some people hold on to expectations. Expectations set by society, by family, by their younger selves. They follow a script they didn't write, living a life that doesn't actually fulfill them. Maybe you were taught that success means climbing the corporate ladder, so you stayed in a job you hate. Maybe you were told that happiness looks a certain way, so you ignored your own definition of it. But what if the expectations you've been carrying aren't actually yours? What if they're someone else's idea of what your life should be? Letting go of expectations isn't about giving up. It's about giving yourself permission to live life on your terms. And then there are the people in our lives. Sometimes the hardest thing to let go of is a relationship, whether it's a friendship, a romantic partner, or even a family member. We hold on because of history, because of guilt, because of hope that things will change. But not every person in your life is meant to stay forever. Some people are lessons, not lifelong companions. And the longer you hold on to someone who no longer aligns with who you are, the more you delay the connections that actually do serve you. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, who support your journey. Let go of the ones who drain you, who belittle you, who keep you stuck in a version of yourself you've outgrown. Habits are another thing we struggle to release. We repeat behaviors every day, not because they benefit us, but because they're automatic. Maybe you scroll through your phone the moment you wake up, filling your mind with noise before the day even starts. Maybe you procrastinate, telling yourself you'll change tomorrow. Maybe you numb your emotions instead of facing them. The truth is, your habits shape your reality. And if you want a different reality, you have to let go of the habits that no longer serve you. Letting go isn't just about removing things. It's about making space for something better. When you release what's weighing you down, you create room for growth, for clarity, for new opportunities. You give yourself permission to move forward without the baggage of the past slowing you down. It's not always easy. Letting go requires courage. It requires trust. Trust that what's ahead of you is more meaningful than what you're leaving behind. It requires self-awareness, the ability to recognize when something is no longer serving you. But the moment you make the decision to let go, you reclaim your power. You stop being a prisoner of the past and become the creator of your future. Redefining your purpose is not about finding a completely new direction in life. It's about reconnecting with what truly matters to you. Too often we follow paths that were shaped by external expectations, what our parents wanted, what society told us was successful, or what we thought would bring us happiness. But at some point we realize that just because we're moving doesn't mean we're moving in the right direction. That's when it's time to pause and ask, why am I doing this? Purpose isn't something you find, like a lost object. It's something you create. It evolves as you grow. What drove you 5 years ago might not drive you today, and that's okay. The problem is that many people feel stuck because they're chasing an outdated version of success. They keep going because they've already invested so much time and effort, but deep down they know something feels off. They ignore the discomfort, convincing themselves that if they just work harder or achieve more, they'll eventually feel fulfilled. But purpose isn't about more, it's about meaning. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to redefine their purpose is looking for a single grand answer. They believe purpose has to be some massive, world-changing mission, but purpose doesn't have to be big, it just has to be yours. It's not about impressing others, it's about aligning with what truly fulfills you. Some people find purpose in teaching, some in creating, some in helping others, and some in simply becoming the best version of themselves. There's no right or wrong purpose, only one that feels authentic to you. A powerful way to redefine your purpose is to ask yourself, what do I care about? What excites me? What makes me feel alive? Pay attention to the things that energize you versus the things that drain you. When you engage in activities or conversations that align with your purpose, you feel a sense of flow, a state where time disappears and you're fully immersed in what you're doing. That's a clue. When something constantly feels like a struggle or leaves you feeling empty, that's a sign too. Many people lose sight of their purpose because they are too focused on external validation. They chase money, titles, status, things that look good on the outside but don't necessarily fulfill them on the inside. There's nothing wrong with success, but when it becomes your only driving force, you risk losing yourself in the process. True fulfillment comes when your actions align with your values, not when they align with someone else's expectations. Another common struggle is the belief that purpose has to be tied to a career. While work can be an important part of purpose, it's not the only piece. Your purpose might be to inspire others, to create meaningful art, to raise a family with love and intention, or to explore and experience the world. The key is to stop measuring your purpose by what you do and start measuring it by how it feels. To redefine your purpose, reflect on the moments in your life when you felt the most alive. What were you doing? Who were you with? What was the impact? Often, our purpose is hidden in those moments, waiting for us to recognize it. Think about the challenges you've overcome. Many times, our struggles shape our purpose. Someone who has faced adversity may feel called to help others in similar situations. Someone who has felt lost may find purpose in guiding others toward clarity. Your journey gives you a unique perspective that no one else has. Letting go of old identities is a crucial part of redefining purpose. People cling to labels, job titles, relationships, achievements, because they give them a sense of identity. But you are not your job, you are not your past successes or failures. You are not who you were 5 years ago. Growth requires shedding outdated identities so you can step into who you are meant to become. Some people resist redefining their purpose because they fear starting over. They worry that if they change paths, they'll have wasted all the time and effort they put into their current one. But nothing is ever wasted. Every experience, every skill, every lesson prepares you for what's next. The question isn't, have I wasted time? But, am I willing to use what I've learned to create a future that excites me? Purpose isn't a destination, it's a process. It evolves as you evolve. What matters is that you remain open to change, to growth, to new possibilities. Redefining your purpose isn't about abandoning everything you've built. It's about ensuring that what you're building still aligns with who you are. Taking intentional action is the bridge between your thoughts and the life you want to create. It's one thing to think about change, to talk about your goals, or to dream about a better future. But if you don't act on those intentions, nothing changes. Intentional action is about being deliberate in your choices and making decisions that align with the vision you've created for yourself. The first step in taking intentional action is clarity. Without a clear understanding of your purpose, goals, and values, action becomes aimless. You may find yourself constantly busy, moving through your day, but getting nowhere. Intentional action comes from a place of focus. You don't need to do everything. You need to do what matters most. Once you know what truly matters to you, you can filter out the distractions and focus your energy on what aligns with your greater vision. Many people struggle with taking action because they feel overwhelmed by how much they need to do. They look at their goals as a whole and become paralyzed by the size of the task. But the key to moving forward is breaking things down into smaller, manageable steps. Instead of thinking, I need to change my entire life, ask yourself, what's the next small step I can take today to move in the right direction? Intentional action also requires consistency. Motivation can get you started, but it's consistency that keeps you going. It's easy to start a new project or change your habits when you're feeling energized, but it's when the motivation fades that the real challenge begins. This is where intentional action separates those who succeed from those who fall short. It's about showing up every day, even when it's hard. It's about doing the work even when you don't feel like it. One of the most powerful things you can do to ensure intentional action is to develop a routine that supports your goals. When you intentionally design your day around what matters most to you, you make it easier to take consistent action. A routine helps you stay focused on what you want to achieve, even when life gets chaotic. It removes the decision fatigue that often leads to procrastination. Taking intentional action also means being mindful of your energy. You can't give your best if you're constantly drained. Pay attention to how certain activities, people, and environments make you feel. Are they draining your energy, or are they fueling your passion? By consciously choosing where you invest your time and energy, you set yourself up for success. Another critical aspect of intentional action is learning from failure. Most people shy away from taking action because they fear making mistakes or failing. But failure is an essential part of growth. The most successful people aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail, learn, and keep going. Intentional action isn't about avoiding failure. It's about taking risks and using failure as a stepping stone. When you make a mistake, reflect on it, adjust your approach, and move forward with greater wisdom. One of the biggest challenges to taking intentional action is overcoming self-doubt. We all have moments where we question our abilities, wonder if we're on the right path, or fear that we're not good enough. But the key to overcoming self-doubt is taking action in spite of it. You don't have to feel confident before you take a step forward. You just need to take the first step. Action builds confidence, not the other way around. Every time you act, even if you're unsure, you build momentum. Intentional action also requires focus. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to get sidetracked. You may start a project with enthusiasm, only to find yourself scrolling through social media or jumping from one task to the next without completing anything. To take intentional action, you need to limit distractions and stay focused on the task at hand. Set boundaries for yourself and create an environment that supports your goals. Taking action isn't just about doing more, it's about doing the right things. Prioritize tasks that align with your long-term goals and be okay with saying no to things that don't. It's easy to get caught up in busy work, but the most effective people focus on what truly moves them forward. When you take intentional action, you also build accountability. Whether it's through a mentor, a coach, or simply by sharing your goals with someone you trust. Having accountability keeps you on track. It forces you to stay committed even when you want to quit. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility that helps you follow through on your intentions. Intentional action requires patience. It's easy to get discouraged if results don't come immediately, but true change takes time. Whether you're building a business, developing a new habit, or working on personal growth, progress often happens slowly. Trust the process. Keep taking small steps forward, even when you don't see immediate results. The work you put in now will pay off in ways you can't yet see. Taking intentional action is a mindset. It's about choosing to show up, even when it's difficult, and making decisions that align with values, goals. It's not about consistency, learning from mistakes, and staying focused on what truly matters. Intentional action is the key to turning your dreams into reality. It's about moving forward one step at a time with purpose and determination. In the end, resetting your life isn't about making drastic changes all at once. It's about taking small, intentional steps toward clarity, letting go of what no longer serves you, redefining your purpose, and committing to consistent, purposeful action. It's about understanding that growth is a process, not a destination. Life is full of distractions, fears, and challenges that can easily pull you off course. But the key to resetting is to remain grounded in your values. Be patient with yourself, and take conscious action every single day. When you pause and reflect, you create space for new perspectives. When you let go, you free yourself from the weight of the past. When you redefine your purpose, you tap into your true potential. And when you take intentional action, you move closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. This is your life, and you have the power to shape it. Resetting isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about being intentional with each decision, learning from every mistake, and trusting that every step, no matter how small, is leading you closer to the life you truly want. So today is the day to reset. Start with clarity, take action, and watch how your life transforms.